Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to learn about the subject of network analysis, alternating currents, introduction of complex numbers, and the idea of and the concept of phasors. The detailed description of and the content of this video is we are going to learn about alternating current, discussion of complex numbers, which is going to be very helpful and mathematical tool to be used as mathematical tool in entire network analysis. Right from when AC is introduced, you have to know about the operation of complex numbers and phasors as well. Then we'll go for application of phasors and frequency domain analysis for circuits including resistors, capacitors and inductors. We are also aiming to introduce the concept of impedance and admittance in this video. If time permits, I'm not going to make this video so longer. I will keep very crisp. So let us start. What is meant by alternating current? You all have studied alternating current in your basic electrical engineering, but as far as your network analysis is concerned, let us have a quick revision or quick introduction of the alternating current in point of view of network analysis. Alternating current, or popularly known as AC, this is your alternating current or popularly known as AC, is the predominant form of electrical power that is delivered to our homes, and industry. This is dominant. Why? We'll discuss this maybe in this video or somewhere else in the class or somewhere in the next upcoming videos. In the late 1800 centuries, there was a battle between proponents of DC and AC. You must have heard about the names of two great scientists or great two inventors or great two personalities in the field of electrical engineering or in the field of electricity. One was the famous scientist Thomas Alva Edison, and the another was the greatest scientist in electrical engineering, Nikola Tesla. There were a debate between which one to prefer for the future, whether it is DC or it is AC. We'll have the detailed story later on. This is not the scope of this video. Just I have to inform you that in the late 1800s, when electrical world was shaping out as it has evolved right now, there was a battle. There was actually a hot debate between proponents of DC and AC, those who were advocating about DC or AC. But something happened in AC world. This is the answer here. Something happened in AC world, and that made AC more popular as DC. Then AC won. See this? AC won. AC became more popular. Something happened. What is that something? We'll discuss it later on. AC won out due to its efficiency for long distance transmission. I've given you a short and crisp answer. This is very much demanded during interview. This is asked during interview. Okay. AC is a sinusoidal current. AC is a sinusoidal current, meaning the current reverses at regular times and has alternating positive and negative values like this. It will start from 0, this is your origin, this is your plus 1, this is your minus 1. Let us draw the envelope. Sinusoidal must not go beyond plus 1 and must not go below minus 1. It is a very basic mathematical analysis and fact. A sinusoidal waveform starts or crosses 0 like this, and it will goes on like this. Here the value is minus 1. Here the value is 1. What is happening? See this. This entire lobe or half cycle is plus, and the direction is like this. It is starting from 0, reaching to maximum, downgrading to 0. From again point from this 0, it is going down and down to minimum to point minus 1. From this minus 1, it is reaching upward just to reach 0 once again, and it is not stopping here. This is not stopping here. It is going beyond this point just to reverse, just to repeat the whole process from here to here. What was the whole process? The whole process was starting from 0, going to 1, downgrading to 0, going to minus 1, again going to 0, and it is coming back to 1. See this. This is actually a sinusoidal function. AC is none but sinusoidal current. Means the current reverses at regular interval of times and has alternating positive and negative values. Alternating positive, this is positive, and negative, this one is a negative value. And these are alternating. This is on the upper side of this reference line, and this is on the downward side of this reference line. Now, what are sinusoids? In detail, we'll have. Sinusoids are interesting to us because there are number of natural phenomena that are sinusoidal in nature. So we can say that sinusoids are very much natural thing. This is somewhat something happening in the nature frequently. Why? Because there are number of natural phenomenon. Phenomenon means the activities which is controlled by natural processes that are happening in sinusoidal form or sinusoidal nature, or in very crisp word, it is following sine wave. It is also a very easy signal to generate and transmit. Nature always follows easy path. It is very much simplified. Nature is very much simplified. Nature is not complex. Nature is simplified. It is not complex. We human beings are complex. We are actually sometimes very much in problem to understand what is going in the nature. Once we decode the natural process in our simplified manner, it becomes the known natural phenomena. Nature always executes its processes in very easy form. Okay, so this one, the sinusoidal nature of the number of phenomena that are happening in nature out there, it is in sinusoidal form. Why? Because it is very easy. Why? Because it is very easy. It is very easy. It is very easy signal to generate and transmit. Also, through Fourier analysis, we'll have a detailed analysis of Fourier analysis in subsequent chapters, or we'll have number of videos, lectures on Fourier analysis, right from introduction to a very good level. Any practical periodic functions can be made by adding sinusoids. This is very important just to understand this. Lastly, they are very easy to handle mathematically. This one is very important point. Why? Because once we are in the field of understanding this, we need a tool to analyze it, to operate it, or to understand it in a very lucid manner or easy manner. So mathematics is the tool, or the branch of mathematics which deals in this field actually very easy. It gives you very easy tool to understand, to go into this nature. A sinusoid forcing functions produces both a transient and a steady state response. Now there are two words important here, a transient and a steady state response. Transient is something what very fast in nature, something which is changing from 0 to non-zero position, or what position, which is in between 0 and 1, like whenever you switches on a fan, the moment between switching on the fan and moving on the fan is called transient. Transient means very fast, rapid changes. What is happening in the physical format of that changing, that is called transient. Steady means the transient has been settled and now the functions, the operation has been carried out for a longer time and it is in its final processing. When the transient has died down, means settled down, died down, we say the circuit is in sinusoidal steady state. Okay, what is that means? It means that whenever system is in transient state, it need not be in sinusoidal form. Once the transient has settled out or died out, we say the circuit is in sinusoidal steady state, means steady state is in sinusoidal format or sinusoidal waveform. A sinusoidal voltage may be represented as, this is actually given to you for the various number of times. This is just a quick revision and understanding. Vt is equal to Vm sin omega t, that is this is Vt and this is your Vm and this is your theta. This is your Vt is equal to Vm sin theta, or theta is your omega t. This is your time. T is equal to 2 pi by omega. This T is equal to 2 pi by omega. It is called time period. Period is inversely related to another important characteristic, which is very important characteristic, that is frequency, and unit is hertz. Unit is given as cycles per second or hertz. It is often useful to refer to frequency in angular terms. Here, the angular frequency is in radians per second and omega is 2 pi f. A general expression, mathematical expression for sinusoidal function is, let us assume voltage is a function, time dependent function, so it will be Vt is equal to Vm sin omega t plus phi. This is our interest to know what is this. Now we generally know this Vt, the function of time, voltage as a function of time is equal to Vm. This is your maximum value of voltage. If it is sinusoidal, so it must follow sin theta. So theta is your omega t. T is always changing. So there is plus phi. At t1 it was omega t1, and at the interval of delta t, when it becomes t2, it becomes omega t plus phi. This is the graphical representation. This is your Vt. This is your omega t. In terms of angular frequency in radians per second. Okay. And in terms of time period, this remains same Vt, and the x-axis is your t, time period. In a more generally, we need to account for relating timing of one wave versus another. What is meant by this? This is meant by that we should know the time lagging or leading of any of the two waveforms, minimum two waveforms or three waveforms, or whatever be requirement by your side. This can be done by including a phase shift phi. What is phase shift? This is your phase shift. Now look at this diagram. This one is another waveform. This one is another waveform. Now between these two waveforms, see this difference. There is a phase shift between this waveform and this waveform, and the phase shift is given by this value phi. This can be done by including a phase shift phi. Let us have V1t is equal to Vm sin omega t, and V22 is equal to Vm sin omega t plus phi. This is Vm sin omega t, and this is the dotted one is Vm sin omega t plus phi. Let us understand this by doing example 1, solve example 1. Given to you a sinusoidal function, that is 5 sine 4 pi t minus 60 degree. This is in the form of Vn sine omega t plus phi. This is in the format of this. Now calculate its amplitude, phase, angular frequency, period and frequency. This is very easy. This is very easy. This is Vm is your amplitude. This is your amplitude. The maximum displacement from mean position, that is, this was your Vm and this was your minus Vm. This and this. This is your amplitude. So amplitude is your 5. Amplitude 5 is answer. And this is your phi. This is your phi. So phi will become minus 60 degree. Phase is your minus 60 degree. Now for angular frequency, omega, this is omega. Where is omega? This is omega t. Angular frequency is your 4 pi radian per second. The period is your 0.5 second and frequency is 2 Hz. Omega t is equal to 4 pi t is given. So omega is 4 pi. If two sinusoids are in phase, then this means that they reach their maximum and minimum at the same time. If two sinusoids are in phase, it means there is a function called V1. Let us call it V1. There is another function starting from this. Let us call it V2. So this maximum one is occurring maximum 2. This minimum 2, this is your minimum 2, this is your minimum 2, this is your minimum 1. If two sinusoids are in phase, if it is in phase, then this means that they reach their maximum and minimum at the same position of time. Sinusoids may be expressed as sine or cosine. We have seen this. The conversion between them is, this is very basic mathematical formula. We all know this. That is sine of omega t plus minus 180 degree is equal to minus sine omega t. And cos of omega t plus minus 180 degree is equal to minus of omega t minus cos omega t. Sine of omega t plus minus 90 degree is equal to plus minus cos omega t plus minus cos omega t. Cos of omega t plus minus 90 degree is equal to m sine omega t. Now let us understand what is complex numbers. It's a very powerful method for representing sinusoids in the phasor. In the phasor, the word I am introducing here, phasor. What is phasor? We'll understand this. We'll have a quick look of this. But in order to understand how they work, we need to cover some complex number first. We need to have some introduction or basic knowledge of complex numbers just to understand how it is going to operate. A complex number z can be represented in rectangular form as, this is in rectangular form. kindly note this. This is in rectangular form. Z is equal to x plus jy. That is this is your x-axis. This is your y-axis. This is a point. This is point x comma y. Y being the imaginary axis or complex axis. It can also be written as in polar form or exponential form as z is equal to r angle phi. R angle phi or r e to the power j phi. Different forms can be interconverted. They are interconverted. From one form, it is easily interconvertible to another form and vice versa. From that converted form, you can come back to the original form as per the requirement. Starting with the rectangular form, one can go to polar. From rectangular to polar and from polar to rectangular. It is convertible. Likewise, from polar to rectangular, form goes as follows. That is, this is your imaginary axis. This is the point x comma y. This is your real axis. So this position is having argument or angle phi from this real axis, and this is the length r. This is the length here. So r can be written as, in this right angle triangle, r can be written as r is equal to root under x square plus y square, or this angle can be written as tan phi is equal to y upon x from trigonometry, or phi can be written as tan inverse or arctan y upon x. X can be this and y can be this. If this angle is known to you, if this is r, so x is your r cos phi and this y is your r sin phi. We have come to this concept for various times in our previous classes. This is so easy, and we are going to use this very widely in this subject also. The following mathematical operations are very important. Just make it a note. This is your addition. That complex numbers z1 plus z2 is equal to x1 plus x2, real part, and imaginary part. The subtractions goes like your addition also. Z1 minus z2 is equal to real part minus real part and imaginary part minus imaginary part. See this. Multiplications goes like this, converted into polar form. This is polar form. Okay. So this is, and the argument angle is added. Division is like, if it is z1 upon z2, so it is r1 by r2 into angle or angle phi 1 minus phi 2. Reciprocal is 1 by z is equal to 1 by r angle minus phi. The square root is root under z is equal to under root r angle phi by 2. And the complex conjugate is z complex conjugate is equal to x minus jy, or in polar form r angle minus phi. This is very important. And in exponential format it is r into e raised to power minus j phi. This is very important, and we are going to use this for the various numerical problem in our subject.